Welcome to Coull Discussions. The wage gap between the rich and the poor has been greatly exaggerated now. They have a new term. The super rich are just becoming even more rich, and the poor, well, they're not getting any richer. There's been a report.
It hasn't been exaggerated, has it? It's been just shown to be getting bigger. Like, the gap is bigger. There was a recent report put out that 2 people in Canada hold as much wealth as 30% of the lowest earners in Canada. That's in Canada. And 8 people in the world hold as much wealth as 50%
of the poorest people
of the poorest people of the population. Like, it's of the population. So 3.6 billion people.
Yeah. Okay. But okay.
Have as much combined wealth as 8 people.
But you are talking about the poorest people.
Yeah.
You know, that's a huge disclaimer right there. That's an easy way to make things look really, really bad. Because a better example is 2 people in Canada have as much wealth as 30% of Canadians. That's an insane detail right there. Because we're talking about Canada, who we are some of the wealthiest people in the world. We fit into that top percentile.
So how do we fix this? That is the big question. How do we fix this wage gap? Wealth redistribution, of course.
Yes,
I'm
no.
Kidding. I think that's ridiculous.
Some of the easiest ways to fix what's going on is to make sure that rich people pay taxes.
Unfortunately, you can't fix it. You can't. I don't think you can.
No.
Because I think that it's the mentality of society nowadays to collect as much money as you can.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I get that a lot of these higher earners aren't paying their fair share of taxes, so how do you make them pay? Because they're using loopholes in the system. It's not because they're, like, getting tax breaks. They're using loopholes in the system.
They're getting tax breaks.
But it's put together by governments that people vote. Mm-hmm. Vote in governments that make the system have these loopholes so that they can use them. Because all it is really is they move money around to make it look like there's not money here to be taxed. That's really all they're doing.
Yeah, the Panama Papers. There was a leaked paper from a bank in Panama that had a whole bunch of rich people have billions of dollars in it that should be taxed, but
it's not.
Were taken out of the system, and they weren't. You know, there's another example is that Apple has only paid 0.005% on profits that they've made in Europe. Think about that.
It's ridiculous.
That's less money. That's probably as much money as people that are working full time for a year pay. You know, that's insane. And you're right. It's not going to change because the people that are rich are the ones that
influence government.
Politicians elected, and they're the ones who make the rules and make it more difficult.
And you're not going to get somebody in there in office who's going to change it because no big corporation would support somebody who's going to make them pay more money.
Mm-hmm.
So it's never going to change. Like, to sit here and to everybody's whining and crying about these rich, and it's like, well, nothing is going to change. Nothing is going to change because of who we vote into office. It doesn't matter if it's Trudeau, a Liberal, a Conservative, a Wild Rose, NDP. It's never going to change. Nothing's going to change. You think that the current carbon taxes or these consumption taxes that these politicians put in are going to affect these wealthiest percent? Like, no. These consumption taxes hurt the low end of people. Like, Trudeau says we're implementing a carbon tax on a national basis in 2018. And he cares about the middle class. Who do you think is going to be hurt the most?
The middle class.
The middle class and lower. You know what I mean? These rich people. What's another 3% to them?
Well,
nothing.
It is.
It is something, but it's still it's not much. If I make $10,000 a month, and I have to spend $300 more a month on groceries, on my basic needs, that's nothing to me. To me, that's nothing. If I make $3,000 a month and I got to spend $300 more, that's huge. That's like
10%.
I can't even go grocery shopping for a week now. You know what I mean? That's what it comes down to. So, unfortunately, to sit here and to point this gap out, okay, it's great. Oh, great. Now people are going to be mad. What are we going to do?
Did you actually read the report?
I didn't read the report, no, but
I did read the report. I actually read.
I just read the news.
No, you're right, and that's how most.
That's what everybody's going to do.
That's how everybody's going to get their stuff. I agree. What was really interesting about this report was they actually said, "How do we fix it?"
Okay, and what was their answer?
There was some answers. Things to fix is that government. They need government to work for the 99%, not the 1%. So the government has to be held responsible, and no lobby groups.
It's never going to happen.
You're right. I'm just saying this is right.
So
prevent tax havens, standard labor laws for the world, corporations and the rich pay taxes. You know that is one of the big things. It's like there's a tiff between Trump and Warren
Buffett.
You know about taxes, and Warren Buffett's like, oh, here's my tax return. I pay taxes.
No, he hasn't. Has he? I don't know.
No. According to his tax return, he pays taxes. But Trump,
probably
he hasn't probably paid taxes in a while
because he uses the system.
He does use the system, and that's the thing.
So
the system
is it Trump's
there.
fault?
No, it is not Trump's fault.
To be mad at the rich is silly.
No, okay. To be mad at some aspects of the rich, for example. We have Bill Gates, who is the richest person according to the Forbes top 100, right? He's the richest person in the world. And he's worth $75 billion. Warren Buffett, the guy we're talking about, he's worth $60 billion. These two people have actually said, we're giving away 90% of our wealth when we die. That's an example of how...
You know, I look at that when I hear that.
And even Bill Gates has funded completely...
When I hear that, though...
Initiatives to get rid of...
How much are they worth combined?
$135 billion.
$135 billion. Could that not, eradicate poverty, almost? If you give away 90% of that, that would be, what, $100 billion, say?
Yeah.
Could that not just poof? Everybody's fine.
No, but it's one of those things of...
No, because it has to go through red tape.
No. If you give everybody that much money, there's...
I'm not saying distribute it equally among people, but could it not go to eradicating...
Yes.
The majority of poverty?
No, and that's one of the things that needs to be fixed, is that sense of... they were saying that... shareholders, as early as the 80s, only ever used to get 30% of profits. Now they're getting 70% of profits. You know, that's a twofold increase. It's that sense of give me more, give me more, give me more. Pension fund people. Pension funds used to be a big investor in stuff, and now they're not. They used to hold upwards of 30% of stock in things, and now it's only 3%.
See, I think you need a government to come in and there's so many loopholes, and the system is so full of ways to manipulate it.
Mm-hmm.
You need to close them all.
Oh, and that's the thing
but at the same time,
if you have money, you can afford to use the system because you can afford the lawyers, the accountants.
So if you made it like this, here's my proposal. It's extreme, and this is why someone like myself who thinks like this would never be put in office, because it would affect the rich the most. So you put a flat tax in.
Yep.
15%, say. This flat tax consists of no loopholes.
None. If you make $1 million, you pay 15%. Done.
Zero loopholes. You get one page of paper when it's tax time, and you put in your social insurance number or whatever is now your number. Any money associated with this number, including your business. So if you open a business, there's no more disconnecting your number from your business. Mm-hmm. It's all one now. Okay, if you are the owner of a company, that is your money. Mm-hmm. Okay. So you pay 15% on whatever profit your company makes. So if your profit brings in a revenue of $100, You put out $75 in like expenses and stuff like that. You pay 15% on that 25. Done. Okay. You pay yourself out of that company. You pay yourself X amount of dollars. You pay 15% on that. Right. So every individual is now an individual. Not, hey, we're common law. We can write off our children, or we can write off this. No more. Oh, I use my house for my business. Well, okay, that's cost of doing business. You don't write off part of your house. You pay profit, 15%. You can't move that money anywhere to hide it. And if you get caught hiding it, you now pay 50% for the rest of your life.
Ooh.
There is consequences now to you hiding and evading taxes. You want to be fair? This is the way it is. Now but you have to make... That's harsh. Oh my God. Business will never come here. Hold on. Stop. Time out.
Okay, hold on. I will stop you, because that's one of the things that this report said was the world as a whole has to stop these things. Because right now, it's a race to the bottom for certain countries to go, oh yeah, you have your headquarters here, you pay 5 cents tax. 5 cents tax. That's it.
Yeah.
And that's what a lot of companies do, is they move themselves out. And as
to avoid taxes.
Yeah.
So that's why
the world, it has to be done this way. It's not something Canada does it. This is the world.
But I think at the same time, when you do something like this, when you go to the extremes like this, you have to make it easier for people to open businesses and to run businesses. So you need to make it easier for the ordinary person to start a telecom company, to start a internet
but you still
company.
need to have the minimum standards.
Well, obviously you have to, but those minimum standards could potentially be a little bit lower and a little bit easier to run, because this is how I look at it.
It would be a worldwide.
This is how I look at it. This is how I look at it. So we have 3 telecom providers, like cable providers, right? So Rogers, Telus, Bell. So 4, right? To me, that's not competition, because those 4 companies can kind of play off of each other.
So they do.
You know, they can go, oh, Shaw raised the prices. Oh, but we're going to go a little bit higher, but lower.
This is an example, a good example of how businesses play with each other and not against. If you have a gas station, one on each corner, do they all have different prices? No, they all have the same price. And if you go 3 blocks down the road, you'll find another gas place that's cheaper. Why? It's all the same gas.
Yeah.
They're all getting it the same. It's not like it's different on the market. It's not like Esso gas is different than Petrogas. It's all the same. They may come from different suppliers, but it's still bought at $23 a barrel. Right? That's what it is.
Imagine if you had 10 of these same company competing for your share, competing for market share. Okay? When you have 4, it's easier to kind of collude, because that's what it's called. When you have 10, it's not so easy to collude, because you know that, maybe 5 of them will collude and try to, but then the other 5 are going to go, no, fuck you, we're going to try and get the bigger market share. We're going to undercut you, because we know that we can do it and still make a profit. So you have to make it easier for companies to start up and to be able to, but again, the world has to be on it, so it's never going to happen. So it's never going to happen.
That's one thing that came out of the report, was the world as a whole has to change.
But it's never going to happen.
Exactly.
Ever.
It's one of those things that the rich control everything. Do they want to give it up? No, they don't. Will they? No, they don't. The only way that's, unfortunately, the French Revolution is a good example of where the elites became too enshrouded in power, and they all died. That is one of those drastic things that might happen, but the world is not a coherent place. We do not all have the same values, and until people stop wanting to kill each other all the time, or undercut each other,
until people stop wanting what the other person has and going and taking it however they want to get it, it's never going to change. So to sit here and put out reports and to put out, this is what needs to be done, but no way to get there, is a fallacy. It's just
it's one of those things. Yeah,
somebody making money to put a pen to paper, or a a keystroke to a computer and to put out a report for putting out a report. You know, like we've known for how many years that 1%, like less than 1% control all the world's money?
Well, we've known for quite a few years, but I think it was like 6-7 years ago, you needed 62 people on the Forbes top 100 list to equal the bottom half. Now it's only 8. So it's one of those things of the rich get richer because they are rich. The poor may be getting more money, but it's pennies by comparison to what the rich are getting.
It is. It's a kind of a sad state. It's kind of a sad state of affairs, you know. Like there is no answer, unfortunately. You know, I would love to sit here and go, this is the answer. I think I have some good answers.
Well, I think the flat tax is a good way to go, but it's one of those things of you need everybody on board to do the same thing. And we all know how greed works.
Exactly. So, you know, whatever. I don't know. It's just never...
Okay, the report was actually good. I did read it, and it's and they have points, and the points are pretty good, and they make some suggestions about how things should change to make it work for everybody. Mm-hmm. You know, I don't know if they went far enough, because there was a really, really big...
So report. What else did they have besides the...
Well, they made some other points as like the extreme poverty line that we all base things on is actually really, really low bar, so it's kind of really easy to go over. They gave an example of like poor people now in the past year are making $3 more a year. The poor are, but that rich person is making $118,000 more. So it's kind of like $3, $118. Big difference. See,
this is what I think.
And then the common misconceptions of the economy. You know, everybody says the market is right. We should let it govern itself. You know, and minimize government handling of it. And it's like, no, because the market is dictated by greed. The collapse of the Depression of 2008 is a good example of people and greed, because they were marketing debt as an asset, and debt is not an asset.
See, I think that's how that's how it comes. Because I agree that the market is run by greed, and that to let the market regulate itself in the current state that we have now is wrong. In order for a free market society to work, you and I have to be able to go out and just run a radio station, run an internet company, and with ease, with a little bit of capital. That's the way that a free market. My example of 10 of the same company in one area competing for market share instead of 3, because those 3 can collude. 10 harder to collude, right? Mm-hmm. So like to have a true free market. We don't live in a free market right now. Don't fool yourself. We don't live in a free market. I can't just go drive a food truck downtown and park on a corner and start making food, because I'll get shut down by health regulations.
Okay, I think the best example is you look at the marijuana market in Canada that's trying to explode. You know, a lot of individuals are trying to open up little stores to start dispensing marijuana, and the government is going, no, you guys can't do this because it's against the law. But they're totally okay with letting big companies buy up this whole industry while they're waiting for it to become legal, and all of a sudden they go, done. We're in.
So to say that the government needs to have more of a hand in it,
they said that's one of the misconceptions they were saying is like the government needs to have a minimum hand, and they're like, no, the government needs to be involved. The extent the involvement will vary depending on what.
Yeah.
You know, this is one of those things of, because marijuana is going to be legalized, it should be just a gray area of the law. And just kind of go, you just sold to a child, guess what, you're closed. But as long as you're selling to adults, and most of them have their medical marijuana cards, we'll turn a blind eye for now. But once we legalize it, we're going to come in, we're going to give you an inspection, and if everything's on the up and up, no problems. So,
it's just
it's one of those things. It's there to anger people, but it's like we can get mad at rich people because they're being greedy.
You're getting mad at the wrong people, in my eyes.
You could still get mad at the rich people, but you have to, depending. An example is Bill Gates. He's giving away most of his money. He's doing a lot of good right now because he came from humble beginnings.
But most rich people aren't doing shit.
The Walmart family is a great example.
I wonder.
People not doing good things.
I've always asked myself if charitable donations weren't tax deductible, would people still give as much as they do?
No.
There you go. That's your. I think that's your answer right there. Is that?
Hold on. Companies wouldn't. People would, because it's a nice bonus, but for most people that donate to their churches, to charities, they do it out of the goodness of their heart.
Yeah.
Companies do it to make it look good.
Let's make charitable donations non-tax deductible.
I think the whole system, the system is broken. It needs to be fixed.
But it's never going to be fixed because
nobody wants to fix it.
No, I will.
Well, I would.
I'll stand up at a podium and say I will fix it, but
I would need to figure out how to fix it first before I start going, oh, we need to fix it, and I'm going to. I would need to have a plan. Well,
I already have a plan.
I know.
I already have the start of a plan. I already have the ground floor for it. Unfortunately, it would piss people off because, oh man, would it piss people off.
I imagine it would, yeah.
That's why I would never win a vote, because my plan would just be like, I'll tell you about it one day. Alright guys, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Tell us what you think. How would you fix this extreme gap of wealth? Is wealth redistribution the answer? I don't know. Let me know. Let us know. In the comments. Let us know what you think. Later.